All right, good morning everyone. We're gonna get started with our practice today. Things are resituated in the studio here, which is nice. We have a new background. And as I mentioned, 2 blocks and a blanket for today's yin practice. We're gonna be doing a lot of twists today, twisting it out, twisting out the stuff and opening up into spring. Okay, so let's come to a standing posture to begin. We're going to begin today with breath of joy, and just find your feet on the mat, about hips distance apart. Look down, lift your toes up, and then replant them on the mat. Maybe take a soft gaze or close your eyes, feeling your body in space here. Just noticing maybe if you tend to lean forward or back, just kind of noticing your body in space. Also noticing any areas of soreness, tightness, and observing that and honoring that today as we move through our yin postures. Notice if your head is jutting forward, if your head is moving forward of your body. See if you can line up your ears in your mind's eye over your shoulders. A couple of breaths here. And then we'll begin breath of joy. So breath of joy, I've got a sneeze that wants to roll through, so once it does, it'll surprise you all. There's your warning. Breath of joy is inhale up, inhale side, inhale up, and exhale to let it go. And on the exhale, keep your head above your heart. So rather than all the way down, which you can do, it can make us a little dizzy. So like this, inhale through the nose and then through the mouth. So begin with me now. Inhale, 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 exhale. Keep with it, you're doing great. We'll do about a minute of this breath pattern. Let go of anything that wants to come out on that exhale. Last round, wherever you are, finish off with your exhale, and then come back to standing, one hand on your heart, one on your belly. Take in your energy. Feel your heart rate. And really connect breath with body here now. I love starting our yin practices with that kind of movement. Anything to really connect us with the breath in our body. Settle down any last minute rushing energy. So let that all just ground down now through your feet. Allow the heart rate to settle. If there's an intention you'd like to set for your practice today, set it now. And I will offer the idea of ease, which I love to come back to in practice, to remind ourselves of ease in this pose, in the poses today. And we'll make our way down for our first yin posture, which is child's. Coming down onto our knees. Let's tuck our toes so that we're also opening up the meridian lines in our feet. And then for our first version of child's, allowing the head to come down to the mat or a block. You can also place a block between your heels and your seat If your hips are not reaching your feet, then prop a block between your feet and your seat. Yeah. And then allow the shoulders to roll down towards the mat. And we settle in here. So a beautiful grounding pose to start the practice. Really noticing the breath through the back line of the body. All the way from the tailbone up to the cervical spine, the neck. On your inhales, feel your low back expand with breath and the waist. Also notice the breath in the front of the body as you're compressing the belly towards the chest with every breath in the rib cage. It's a very, very internal kind of pose, so just tuck on into your own little body cave here. That's what I like to call it. And be with the breath, the sensations as your body opens up. We're not here for too long if your feet are really speaking to you. This is a gentler way though to open up the bottoms of the feet rather than a high kneel position. It's a little softer, gentler. We're waking up the feet, opening up the fascia in the feet and the meridian energy lines. Just another few rounds of breath here. Take a nice big inhale, fill that belly with breath. On your exhale, bring your palms to frame your face. Begin to push up into your palms, lifting your face up. Lift your seat up, release the feet from that squat position. And tap out the tops of your feet. I know that feels really good now. And then we're gonna take threading the needle here, bringing our twist. And you can take this in puppy version or child. So let's begin with the right arm, reaching the right arm up to the sky. And on an exhale, threading that right arm underneath the left shoulder. So here, you can either keep your hips high as if in puppy pose, or sink on down into a child's, whatever feels better on your body. If you have the range of motion to sink back in your hips and that feels good, go for it. Or if you prefer being up higher with your hips like puppy, it's really, really your choice. Our first twist of the practice, opening up the back of the shoulder. Also opening through the tricep, slightly through the tricep. Really feel this behind the shoulder blades. So breathe right into that spot behind the shoulder blade. Option, if you'd like to direct this pose into more of a twist, lift the left hand up and wrap it around the low back. And you can even tuck it into that hip crease. Stay here wherever you have landed. Find your stillness now. And be with the sensations as they move and change in those areas of stress. If wrapping your arm causes any extra gripping in your body, then release it back to the floor. We're still twisting, even with the arm close to your face, rather than wrapping, we're still twisting in the upper spine.
Notice if the jaw is tensing at all. If so, just part the teeth, allow the tongue to come off the roof of the mouth. Soften. And we're almost done on this side. So if your arm is wrapped behind your back, softly, really slowly begin to release that arm and bring it down, the left hand in front of your face. And inhale, fill up with breath. Exhale, begin to push into that left hand, lifting up off the right shoulder. Come to tabletop. Just notice for a moment all of the energy in that right line of the body. And then we take it to the other side, lifting the left arm up to the sky, opening up the front of the chest, breathing in the chest space. Exhale, swinging that arm underneath that right armpit area now, and sinking back in the hips or staying up high. Noticing how your body feels here first, with right hand planted by your head. And then exploring if you'd like to lift that right arm up and over your low back, maybe tucking it into the hip crease on the left. For me, my shoulder feels angry when I do that, so I'm honoring that. So be where you need to be. Breathing into that space all along the outside of the arm, maybe even down to the elbow. I can feel this stress all the way down to the elbow and then up through the back of the shoulder. Breathe in behind the shoulder blade. Checking in with any unnecessary holding in the face or the shoulder or the hands. And a gentle reminder to release. So we're incorporating twists in this class as we are trying to move into spring, at least. We have it in our heart and in our heads, mentally and emotionally, we want to be in spring. The climate's not really there with us just yet, but twisting helps to release, right? Helps to move out stagnant energy. It's sort of a flushing of old energy, releasing into new energy. So that's what's on our menu today. Our Yin menu. And Shavasana is dessert. And we're almost done this side. Let's take a nice deep breath. Fill up low belly. If the hand is wrapped around your back, release it now and bring it down in front of your face. Begin to push into that right hand, come up off the left shoulder, come back to tabletop. Maybe even just come back to kneeling for a moment. You can use a block under your seat and just notice. Just kind of feel the movement of energy in through the upper body. And now we're going to open up the front of the shoulder. So we're going to come back down onto the mat, coming onto our bellies. Arms outstretched to a T. When you're ready, we'll begin to roll open the left side of the body, placing the left hand on the floor, rolling onto the right edge of the body, and then bending the left knee and tucking it behind your right knee. We're tucking the foot behind the right knee. So we're opening up into a shoulder opener, front of the shoulder here. Also twisting in the low body. I like to keep this left hand in front of my face, but of course, always options, so I'll share one with you. And you can change the degree of stress here. As you move your knee back down towards the mat, you lessen that stress. So if it's very intense, come on back down towards the mat. You can prop a couple of blocks under your knee. You can also take that left hand up and wrap it behind your back. And the fingertips can just be like tented behind your low back. But this is quite big, at least it is for me. So I prefer to have my hand in front and I can kind of gravitate my weight back towards the front hand and off the front of the shoulder. We're gonna be so twisted out after class today. It's like a good rinse of the organs, the joints, the muscles. Feel good after class. This one's so beneficial for all of us that work on computers, of course, opening up the front of the shoulder, if you do a lot of driving. Here, just for another few breaths. We're not in this position for too long. On your next inhale, draw it really deep now into your low belly. Feel that belly button rise. And on your exhale, begin to roll back towards the mat. Knee first comes down, and then adjusting back down to your T. And you can just rest your head looking to the left and noticing how that feels in the right side of the body right now. It may feel warm, it may feel tingly. Allow the sensations to just dissipate and the energy to go where it needs to go. And now you can lift your head and look over the right shoulder. We're going to take this to the other side, bending the right elbow, pressing into the right hand, and beginning to roll onto the left side of the body now. Continue to roll. I'm changing directions here so I can face the camera. And the right foot is supporting you behind the left knee. This shoulder may feel more open or not, right? So a variation that you take on one side doesn't have to be the variation you take on this side. So if you need to come down towards the mat, do so. If you'd like to lift that arm up and wrap it around your low back, that is there for you as well. So I have more space on this side, so I'm kind of enjoying wrapping my arm around. Just because we, take one variation one time, we don't have to the next. Remember our concept of ease. Can you find ease in this posture? So we're holding with our foot, with our hand. Can you really connect with your breath now to bring ease into the areas of stress? on your next inhale, lots of breath into the rib cage, into the low belly. Exhale. If your arm is wrapped around your back, bring it back in front of your body now. And then begin to roll back down towards the mat. Once again, arms outstretched, this time looking to the right, and notice. And when you're ready, bring your arms in front of your body, coming into a variation of Sphinx. So you can bring your arms in front for Sphinx. And then we're gonna mix it up. Let's just take Sphinx here for a few breaths, get used to the feeling in our body. So our elbows are roughly under our shoulders, slightly forward, arms are parallel, tops of the feet are down on the floor, not tucked toes. Long spine lengthening through the crown, allowing the belly to soften. Couple breaths here. Elongating the spine, strengthening the spine. And now, this is where it's going to get crazy, guys. Begin to roll over to your left side. To make sure my timer is set up for this one. Extend your left leg out in front of you. It can bend or it can be long, so you can just kind of play with what you want to do with your leg as we move into it. Begin to roll back down into Sphinx as best you can. This is our twisting Sphinx. So your leg may not be very high, it can be bent. I know, it's a crazy pose. It's crazy, right? So just find your best version of it, but it feels so great on the outer leg, outer left line of the leg. Opening up through the IT band into the hip, and we're also twisting in the low torso, if you haven't noticed. Twisting through the abdominals, through the low back. Just try as best you can to balance out the weight in the shoulders. It's really easy to dump a lot of weight into the left shoulder here. So shift your weight a little more to the right to try and keep that balanced. The outsides of my legs are very tight. I really feel this. I don't know if you guys are as well. Also experiment with pointing and flexing that left foot. Just notice what that does in the stress. When you flex your foot, you're going to feel a lot more tension down the line of the leg. So maybe hold that for a few breaths. We're almost done this side. Alrighty, let's take a juicy inhale here. Fill up, and now begin to walk your hands back towards your body and just come up to a seated for a moment before we take it to the other side. You can come with long legs or crossed legs. Just close your eyes and notice that side of the body. It does feel more open, right? I hope you're feeling it. Do you feel some openness down the left line? Yeah? All right, I know everyone's really excited to get to the other side. So beginning to roll down now onto your right side. So just roll down onto the right side of your body. Draw the right leg out in front of you. Again, it can be lower, it can be bent. And then begin to roll down to meet your left forearm and right forearms on the mat for Sphinx, twisted Sphinx. And here we are. See, once again, if you're really heavily weighing into the right arm, try to balance that weight and continue to extend that long line in your spine. Crown reaching for that top corner of your room. Connect with your breath. This is a more fiery pose. So it is more yang in our yin class. Stay with the inhales, the exhales, the sensations in your body, rather than what the mind is telling you right now. They're just thoughts. As I try to tell my youngest, 'cause she's a big thinker, and she's always telling me her thoughts, which is good. But I say to her, honey, it's just thoughts. Remind yourself that, hey, enough of that, I tell her. Just say to yourself, enough of that now. Let's move on. So our mind will want to talk us out of this posture. Just another few seconds here. And a nice big inhale. On your exhale, begin to walk your hands back towards your body, pushing up back into a seated for a moment. And once again, notice. Sense and feel what's happening. Wonderful. So that was by far the most challenging pose today. We get to come down to the mat now. Before we do, take your blanket and bring it into a roll. And it can be, a full roll of the blanket, but if you know that that can be too much for you, then you can soften the roll by just unrolling and using a partial roll of the blanket. We're bringing this to our low back because it is lower back love time. So bring it to roughly where you think your lower back is, and then you can adjust once we get down to the mat. You can bend your knees, bring your feet to the mat, and then begin to lower down onto the blanket. And when you get there, if it feels too low, you can get back up and re-roll. If it feels too high, you can unwind some of the blanket. And let's just notice how it feels in our low back to begin. So notice the compression of the low back on the roll with every inhale. It's a soft compression, right? It feels nice. And now lift the left knee and take a hold of the shins, interlacing your fingers around the front of the shins. Just draw the knee in towards the chest, noticing how that intensifies that compression. And let's begin to shift a little left and right with the knee, rolling. Noticing any areas in that left side of the low back that feel really tight. And if so, then hold there. And maybe pulse with the knee towards the chest. You guys know this drill by now. You could teach this yourselves, I think. And you can even roll very further, like take it a little further than you normally would to the left. So that roll gets almost into the side waist. Rolling, knee down towards the left side. So you feel that roll make contact with your left waist. Yeah, and just hold there. And then bringing the knee back over center, releasing the hands. Left foot comes to the mat, right foot comes up. Interlace hands around the right shin. Same thing on the right side now. Just holding and sensing what's happening there. Maybe shifting the knee a little left, a little right. Seeing if there's a spot that you want to hold. Taking a good breath in, exhale, letting any sighs roll through if needed. Maybe pulsing on that area. And then when you feel satisfied with that, begin to roll the knee further to the right. So coming out further and noticing that roll, make contact with the right waist. Oh, it feels good, right? It's like a little massage of the low back. And then coming all the way back through center. Foot comes back down to the mat. You can press into your feet and lift up and remove the blanket. And then come on back down and notice the low back on the mat now. Might feel warm. Got some blood flow moving through. And for our next posture, you may want blocks at the side for our twist. So just reach for your blocks and have them situated close to your hips. Reach both feet up towards the sky. Let's first just point and flex. Feel some nice stretch down through the back line of the legs into the hamstrings. Pointing and flexing. Hello, hello, calves and hamstrings. Maybe holding a flex for a moment, pointing toes towards the face. And now cross the right foot over the left. Begin to bend your knees as you reach up with your hands to take the outsides of your calves and bend your knees into a reclined shoelace. And wherever you land is fine. If you're higher up with your feet, that's okay. If you're able to draw your feet closer to your body, that's great too. As long as you're feeling sensation around the right hip area, maybe through the outer line of the calves, it's all good. And this is our first yin posture on our backs. So settle into your place of stillness now. Connecting with the breath in the back body, noticing all the areas as you fill up with breath, all of the areas in your back body that push against the mat. And checking if you're hunching or holding in the shoulders, which can be a tendency here as we're holding with our hands. Allow those shoulders to release into the mat. Release down and into the mat. Finding your ease in this hold. Allow the shoulders to relax. Give them a break. Feeling the belly, breathe against the right thigh. Feeling the breath in the sides of the waist, the rib cage, the back body. And now we're gonna slowly begin to take this into a twist. So just listen to my cues. First, bring your hands out to a T for support. Begin to lower the feet towards the mat so that the left foot catches the mat. Left foot lands on the mat. Lift the hips up slightly and over to the right, just an inch or two, and then begin to lower the knees down towards the left, maybe catching the block under your knees. If this is a very intense twist for you, then unwrap the legs and come to stacked knees. Okay? Always options. And our arms are outstretched at a T. If you want to bring them into cactus, go ahead. Head can look out over the right arm, or just stay soft at center. There's a lot going on in this twist. Opening up through the outside of the right leg, the low spine, in through the chest. Wringing out and massaging the internal organs. Soften the jaw, remember your ease, soften the hands. Notice if the shoulders want to participate, they will. They'll often want to grip and join in, so give them that permission to soften. We're going to make our way out of this pose now. First, beginning with an inhale, filling up. On your exhale, begin to lift that right foot up first, drawing the left foot in behind the left foot, tucking it so that it meets the mat, and rolling back onto the left foot first, then right foot first, then the left foot meets the mat. Just lift and resituate the hips and notice the back body. Give the energy a few moments to settle. And now we take it to the other side, so reaching the legs up into the air. Beginning to cross the left foot over the right, reaching the hands up to take the outsides of the calves, the shins, as you draw the heels down towards your seat. Finding your edge of resistance that's sustainable for you here now, that you can hold without any pain or real discomfort. Just that first edge of resistance, softened by maybe walking the feet a little further away from the body, walking the hands up towards the knees. And again, the shoulders, allow them to release into the mat. Into the mat. feeling breath of low belly against the left thigh. Stay with that breath. Filling up with an inhale, and on an exhale, bringing your hands back down to a T alongside your body, slowly lowering the right foot towards the mat, catching the mat with the right foot, pressing into the sole of the foot to lift the hips up and over to the left, and bringing your knees down to the right for your twist. And if the twist, again, if the wrapped leg feels very intense on this side, then release it and stack the knees. Arms can be at this extended T position, or you can bring them into cactus. And your head looking to the left or staying neutral. Centered in your space, hearing sounds in your room. Soft shoulders. Soft jaw, stay with it. Last cycle of breath, taking in a really nice inhale, lifting belly button with that inhale. On your exhale, begin to release that left leg out from the bind, bringing the left foot, toes in behind the right knee, rolling back onto that left foot, back up to your hips, planting the right foot, lifting and replanting the hips and noticing. Now before we move into Shavasana, we're going to do another round of somatic movement just before we settle into Shavasana. So exactly where you are here now with bent feet or bent knees, feet planted, just begin to roll your pelvis forward, arching your back. Inhaling and arching your neck, beginning to look towards the wall behind you. Exhale, begin to roll the pelvis back down, pressing low back into mat, looking down towards your chest, chin towards chest.
Inhale, arching the low back, filling breath, lifting the rib cage up away from the mat, chin begins to move back, arching neck. Exhale, chin rolls down towards the chest, rolling pelvis, low back towards the mat. Again, inhaling, arching spine, lifting chest with your inhale, lifting through the chin. And last time, exhaling, rolling down through the pelvis, chin tucking towards the chest, tucking pelvis. Inhale and exhale, come back to just a neutral spine on the mat for a moment. Extend the left leg long. Hands stay out at a T. You may want to place your palms on the floor just for a little support. And now on an inhale, begin to direct that right knee over the left side of the body, rolling onto the left inner edge of the foot, arching the back. Inhale. And exhale, coming back through center, allowing the right hip to meet the mat again. So we're just going to roll back and forth with the knee. Inhale, left knee comes over, right knee comes over the left thigh, arching the back, rolling onto the inner edge of the right foot, arching, and now look over your right arm. And exhale, rolling back through center, head comes back through neutral. Let's do one or two more of those. Let's do two more. Inhale, rolling onto the left edge of the right foot. Arching the back, looking over the right arm, inhaling, twisting, and exhale back. Head comes back through center. Last time, inhaling, drawing knee over left thigh, arching the back, twisting and rolling, head towards the right. And back through center. Take a moment here. Inhale, exhale. Bend the left knee, plant the left foot, extend the right leg long now. If a sigh wants to come through, just let that go. And now inhale, rolling onto the inner edge of the left foot, allowing that left knee to come over the right leg. And coming back through center. And again, left knee beginning to roll over the right thigh, arching the back. Inhale as you arch, and coming back through center. Rolling onto the inner edge of the left foot, and this time look over the left arm as you arch the back. Inhale and twisting, and come back through center. Do two more times. Inhale, roll onto that inner edge of the foot. Extend, arch back, look over left arm. Exhale, rolling back. Last time. Inhale, rolling onto that inner edge, arching back, filling with breath, looking over left arm, and coming back to center. Inhale, exhale. Those somatic movements help our bodies unwind from some sticky patterns that we can get into with movement and just how we hold our bodies. So extend your legs now, extend the left leg long, and just notice how you're feeling for a moment. I really enjoy them.
And it's nice to kind of finish off practice before you move into Shavasana with that. And then bring your arms down by your side. If you still have them out at a T, bring them down alongside your body. Maybe press into your arms and lift chest, replant the shoulders, lifting the chest slightly. Legs are nice and wide on the mat. Fingertips curl in. Feeling all those points where your body's meeting the mat now, from your calves to the backs of your hips, all the way through to your shoulders, arms, the back of the skull. And feel those areas get heavier in the mat. Notice if there's any remaining tension in the face. See if you can soften the face. Soften around the eyes, the jaw, let the teeth part. Quiet mind, quiet body, Shavasana. Staying right where you are, not moving just yet. Staying in this place of ease that you've created for yourself. Feeling your body in this state of calm and peace and spaciousness. And really appreciating it just for another few breaths. And then when you're ready, begin to move around your fingers and your toes. Roll your hands around your wrists, your feet around your ankles, slowly moving the periphery of your body as you begin to take deeper breaths. Turning the head side to side, making bigger movements with bigger breaths. And if you feel ready, you can reach your arms overhead, interlace your fingers, stretch away from your toes, taking up lots of space on an inhale, stretch, stretch, and exhale, letting that go and rolling over onto your left side in fetal position. Just resting your head on your left bicep, right hand just propped in front of your body. Taking a moment here to let the body adjust. And now as you begin to move up to seated, see if you can keep your eyes closed. Stay within, pushing up slowly from that position, coming up into a comfortable seat as we close out practice. Just noticing your body in space as we sit here now. Head over heart, heart over pelvis. Bring your hands together in front of your heart in prayer, Anjali Mudra. Take an inhale and let that go through the mouth. Bring a smile to your face. You did wonderful today. Thank you for allowing me to lead you in practice and for being here in community. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.